Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm still not used to the new intro, so
Right.
hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Link. The gang's all back together. We're all here today.
On the original.
So,
Reunited, and it feels so
so
like work.
good.
Right.
It does.
Glad to see
Like
it.
another Tuesday.
Like my shirt.
We have to talk about that, Paulo. Yeah.
So
Thank you, APLA.
welcome to The Link. If you don't know already, The Link is a collaboration between APLA Health and Pyro Media Network with funding by the CDC. Get into the graphics, get into the logos. We love it. We love it. Yay. So today's we're obviously everyone's here, but we also have another guest today. This guest is very personal to me because this was the first person I ever met at APLA Health, and I don't know if she knows that, but
She knows
but
now.
well, then now I know. So our guest today is our very, very special, and I'm going to make sure I get her title right. So hold on while I make sure I get that. She is the Program Manager of Care Coordination Services, Miss Tiana.
Ooh.
And here she is. Hi, Tiana.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me. So excited to be with all of
You
my
look
peers and
gorgeous.
everyone. And you know,
We're excited to have you here. So thank you so much for coming. So I already kind of mentioned your title, but you want to let everyone out in the world, in the viral world. What is this? Where are we? The internet world.
The internet.
Virtual world.
like Kai said, my name is Tiana Monteilh, and I am the Program Manager of Care Coordination Services here at APLA Health. Some of you guys may wonder, well, what is Care Coordination Services? Care Coordination Services is a combination of a multitude of services that we offer here at APLA, which encompasses our benefit specialty services, our transportation services, a little bit of prevention, our client line, which is more of our internship program, and a form of case management via face-to-face or over the phone, where we give referrals to our wonderful APLA services, as well as services out in the community.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that we even have these care services available. They think of APLA Health just as a health service, and we offer so much more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're talking about today. But in specific, you came here to talk about CalFresh, or kind of the food stamp program, if you will. And you have a presentation for us for that. So should we get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys for having me. I definitely wanted to come on your show today and explain a little bit more about what the CalFresh program is, how individuals can actually get enrolled through our services, our benefit specialty services, and also give you guys a little bit of updates since COVID. Are the extensions now to CalFresh. A lot of people in the past have been apprehensive about the low amount of allotment for CalFresh, but now with COVID and food being placed as such a high priority for individuals, especially since this pandemic, I definitely want to highlight the service and see how I can bring in new individuals, or maybe people who just want to educate their family and friends and bring them in as a referral. So next slide, please. So I just want to welcome you guys to our team. Now, I am the program manager, as mentioned, but we do have 3 benefit specialists that can help individuals with any type of benefit need that they have. Now, I'll be focusing on today specifically CalFresh, but keep in mind, we help individuals enroll in a plethora of benefits. When I say benefits, I'm talking about Social Security, SSI, SSDI, whether you want to apply or been denied, GR, Medi-Cal, Medicare, Cover California, and the list goes on, you guys. But this is what our benefit specialists do. So first we have Javier Piera, who is our benefit specialist, but he also serves the city of West Hollywood. We have Heather Hampton, who is a benefit specialist, but also a housing specialist. And then we have our newest member, David Williams, who's a benefit specialist, but he's also specializing in providing benefit services to our GCHC, our Glacier Chin Clinic over here in Baldwin Hills. Heather and Javier come from a very long line of educated individuals in the terms of public benefits. Public benefits is a very complex issue, so it's great to find individuals like them who are up to date on everything public benefit wise. Not also do we specialize in public benefits, but we also help individuals with private insurance as well. So those that are employed, have questions, need help with co-payments, please reach out to us as well. Okay, next slide, please. So pretty much during this presentation, I want to be able to explain to you guys what CalFresh actually is. Also discuss the importance or the benefits of CalFresh and demonstrate a clear understanding of the application process. I definitely don't want to leave today without giving an overview of the actual application process, as well as the benefit of coming in and working with one of our benefits specialists regarding your CalFresh. So next. So CalFresh pretty much is just a nutrition program that can help households, but help build healthy households. It's also known as SNAP. It's also known as the food program, just depending on what state or what area you're coming from. But here in California, we often refer to it as the CalFresh program. Okay. It is a government program that is administered by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, but please keep in mind this benefit will depending on what state you are in. So the benefits, the allocation depends on what state that you live in currently. It's not all the same in every state. So keep in mind, of course, I'll only be talking about our state, the wonderful state of California. And I just always like to throw any of you guys that are like maybe over the age of 40, I hope I'm not telling on myself, but you may remember when food stamps came into a book of coupons. So I just thought that I would throw that old school note out there.
I remember that.
All right.
I've seen that a few times.
Yes, when you used to need to rip them out and give them one by one. But how things have definitely changed since then. So next slide. The amount that an individual is awarded in CalFresh, of course, is based on your household size, your income, and your housing expenses. Seniors or those with a disability can qualify for certain deductions that can help increase their allotments, such as those who have outstanding medical bills or paying on medical bills, expenses, rent, or dental. Those are type of deductions or things that can help an individual increase the amount of CalFresh that they are allotted. And that's another benefit of working with our benefit specialists when applying for this CalFresh, is that we will take in consideration, or we will help you kind of build a case and asking questions such as medical bills, prescriptions, rent, especially now during COVID. We're looking at utility bills. I've even had clients or individuals ask me, well, Tiana, what about what I'm paying on veterinary care for my dog? If you got receipts, why not? Let's give it a try. Absolutely. And that has worked in certain circumstances too. So that's another benefit of coming to us, is that we're going to look at all of the expenses coming out of the household to help you get a little bit more in your CalFresh. Next slide, please. So today, in 2021, is issued on an EBT card. Some of you guys have seen this card that's pictured below. It works just like a debit card, and it can be used at pretty much every grocery store, but now also farmers market. And keep in mind, some farmers market in so many communities now are doubling your dollars that you spend in CalFresh. So for example, you spend $15 at a farmer's market, they'll actually double that for you. So there are definitely some benefits in also getting individuals now to eat more healthier or choosing healthier diets. Many participants can use these benefits as well as any approved restaurants. That's usually, I just want to know, usually for more homeless individuals that do not have cooking facilities. So when applying for CalFresh, that's one question that they definitely ask. Do you have housing or do you have facilities to cook? And often if you don't, they do allow you to have the availability to use it to purchase Subway in certain restaurants. Okay.
Can I ask a question, Tiana? Something that I've always Yeah, something that I've always wondered when it came to CalFresh, and it might be a silly question. So if someone is homeless, and they don't have an address to get any of this information like sent to them, what do we do then?
Usually with that, the DPSS will serve as the mailing address for that individual.
Okay.
I get a lot of homeless individuals that ask, well, hey, can we get mail sent to my case manager? Unfortunately, we don't want to be responsible, but I always let a homeless individual know, check with the DPSS office. Sometimes
Okay.
they will allow that to happen. But you know what? Now, because of COVID, things are kind of in limbo. I'll also talk about the DPSS office during the time of COVID and what's happening with them right now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next slide, please. So a little bit, I'm not going to spend much time on the history of CalFresh, but I always think that it's very important on how this benefit even came to be in the United States. So it was established in 1977. It's pretty much known as the Food Stamp Reform Act, okay? And its purpose was pretty much just to serve as a safety net against hunger for low income individuals, but specifically for individuals that were coming out of the war, you guys. So they noticed a lot of our veterans were coming out of the war, coming back home, and yet they were facing food insecurity. Definitely not a good look. So in the late 1980s, the program was expanded even more to just serve severe hunger across the board in the U.S. The plan for CalFresh is usually updated by the government annually, but again, it also depends on how your state allocates those funds to individuals. Okay, so that's just my little blurb on CalFresh history. Next slide. So why is it so important? CalFresh benefits help provide more food on the table for families, and it contributes as well to our local economic growth, you guys. These are our farmers, our individuals who are out there working our fields to ensure that we have food on the table. So every dollar in CalFresh benefits, I imagine, everything goes up, but right now $1.70 in local economic activity, and it creates local jobs equivalent to over 17,000 full-time jobs for individuals. So CalFresh not only benefits us, our recipients, but also think about the frontline workers, I should say, that are putting in the hard work for us to even have fresh food on the table. And this presentation was put together kind of before pre-COVID, but imagine now, you guys, that we're in the middle of a pandemic. I know that we've all seen, the news where people were lined up for food banks throughout our country. So it's even more highlighted now that we're in a pandemic, the need of food. Next slide. So Californians are our wonderful state. We have the lowest participation rate in CalFresh across all other states. So we definitely want to increase, or should I say our state is trying to increase individuals that are accessing this program. But keep in mind, 1 in 8 Californians still face food insecurity every day. And again, due to the pandemic, I imagine this number is even higher. And 1 in 4 kids may go to bed hungry each night, which again, due to COVID, kids not going to school, excuse me, I imagine that number has also increased in the past year. California serves on average about 4 million individuals and grants about 5.3 billion in CalFresh benefits annually. Again, a lot of this data in the beginning is pre-COVID. So imagine those who have been laid off of work and needing to access this program. Next slide, please. So pretty much what I wanted to focus on next were those updates in CalFresh since the coronavirus. I wanted to make sure that I also provided individuals with updated information. So since COVID, there has been a 15% increase in CalFresh benefits, and that is currently extended until September 2021. Okay, the minimum benefit currently is $19. Before COVID, the minimum was $15. But one thing that I learned today in preparing for the presentation is that the Biden administration right now is actively fighting to extend this September 30th, 2021 extension. So please be on the lookout to see that, because that may be extended even longer. On top of that, the Biden administration is also looking to increase the market basket instrument. So pretty much what the market basket instrument is that the government or the system has taken a shopping basket full of groceries and said, hey, this basket can feed a family of 4 and it's worth X dollar amount. So they use that as the tool to determine what is the max amount. They're looking to change that. Can you believe that it is only $22 currently a basket for a family of 4? Now, this is going to be big for the Biden administration because this dollar amount has not changed in 60 years, you guys. So that is absolutely crazy that they have not changed what pretty much I would think is a basket, a grocery basket for a family of 4 will feed. Can you imagine $22? That is nothing.
Right.
You know, so that will be something. I wanted to bring that up because that would definitely be something big for the Biden administration if they get this on the table for us, you guys.
Yeah.
So the emergency, CalFresh is also doing, beginning April of this year, an emergency allotment for all CalFresh recipients. So all households will receive at least the maximum CalFresh, which is perfect. On top of that, next slide, please. They'll also get an additional $95. Oh, I think I'm missing a slide. Sorry. But I could just chime in because it wasn't that many. We'll get an additional $95, you guys. So on top of the max, you'll get an additional $95. Now that is depending on your household size. But if your household size doesn't receive the max, you'll automatically receive $95 or more. So that is such a plus for so many individuals. And I always encourage my clients, even though they don't get awarded much for their CalFresh, please keep in mind the money carries over. So what you don't spend in April will be carried over till May, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you realize, oh my God, this doesn't have money on it. 3 months later, you have over $100-something in grocery money. So I always tell individuals is that as well as, don't forget, the farmer's market always doubles your bucks. Okay. So next, I just want to briefly get into, before I wrap up, the application process. So pretty much you guys are wondering, how can I apply? So our benefits specialists are considered CalFresh assisters through the DPSS office. So pretty much what that means is that we have access to the YBN portal just as a DPSS GR or CalFresh enroller will. So this alleviates our clients needing to go into the DPSS office to apply. And currently, due to COVID, the DPSS office is not seeing individuals face to face. So the process or wait time and even getting someone to help you is very challenging. Often individuals do go to the website and apply on their own, but they skip information or they don't understand. For example, the deduction. So many people, when they apply on their own, are not aware that they can also include any household deductions when applying. So I don't know, is somebody?
I think you're muted.
Daniel's muted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I said, where were you when I was on the county food stamps and needed assistance to help fill it out? Because I know what it is to have to go to the building and do the paperwork. Like it was literally an all-day process. And the allocations between, like, if you have a job, if you don't have a job, you know, if you have an address, if you don't have a child. Look.
Yeah, it's such a headache. And it deters so many people from even wanting to go in, let me tell you. So that's why I always encourage our clients, our individuals in general, especially people who may have a disability or something that prevents them. We'll hook up the transportation, the lift ride, so that you come in and see us, just so that we can apply you for this benefit. We want to make it as easy as possible in helping individuals to apply for this benefit or to even collect documentation. So we can do everything that the DPSS office does right here for you guys. Because of COVID, if clients do not feel comfortable coming into the office, we can still apply you online or virtually, however you want to set up your appointment. Okay. So pretty much I just have, you could go to the next slide, please. What the application kind of looks like. So what happens after you work with your benefits specialist, they apply you, what happens next? They will receive the application through the YBN. A caseworker will contact that individual for intake or interview. A lot of the steps, the SAR 7s and the 12-year CalFresh recertification have actually changed due to COVID, you guys. So individuals that are awarded CalFresh can go even a longer period without needing to recertify. For so many individuals who are in need of a SAR 7 or their 6-month renewal, they're scratching that. You don't even need to do that right now. So the CalFresh or the DPSS office has made it even easier for individuals that have been awarded to continue their benefits going on without any interruption, you guys. Next slide, please. So everything is put into the portal. What we're able to do is find out the case status for individuals. For example, if we apply somebody and say they've been denied, or if they apply on their own and they've been denied, we can go into the system and help them reapply or see where the application or the documentation may have been wrong. We'll also be able to go into the portal and see any letters that they may have received. So Ty, this is also great for those individuals that you may say, hey, I don't have mail, I didn't receive a letter. They can always come in and check with their benefits specialist, and we'll be able to look into that portal and see if any letters were mailed to them. If you want to change your address or update your telephone number, we can do that for you as well. Okay. So like I mentioned, we can retrieve electronic notices, confirm benefit amount and transactions, obtain verification of benefits if somebody's looking that to register for another service or for their housing. Often they're asking for GR or CalFresh, proof of income type of thing. We will be able to look that up, as well as upload any documentation that an individual may need. Next slide, please. So just the another thing that we try to do is that the prepare individuals for this appointment, should I say. This can be a lengthy appointment because they do ask quite a few questions, but some things that we do help clients preparing and let them know in advance is that we'll need proof of income, bank statements, recent rent or household receipts, utility bills, ID, social security cards, birth certificates, green cards, proof of citizenship, and medical expenses. We also serve a huge population of undocumented individuals that we definitely serve, and we get that question. And certain individuals do qualify. For example, those that may be here on asylum. Depending on what their asylum is, we'll definitely apply those individuals as well. I would definitely not turn anyone away and say you don't apply. We'll definitely do what we can. But keep in mind, we will need at least maybe a social security card, some type of citizenship, or some type of green card, or at least something that says what your status is here. Okay. Next slide, please. So we do help individuals, again, like I said, prepare a checklist. So one thing that they do will fill out, of course, for contractual reasons would be diagnosis. If you are HIV positive, please keep in mind you do not have to be positive to apply for our CalFresh benefits. An APLA registration packet, as well as any, like I mentioned earlier, contractual consent forms that you will need to sign. Next slide, please. So I do want to open it up for any questions. We have the telephone number at the bottom if you are looking to schedule an appointment for assistance with rolling into CalFresh. And then even if it's not CalFresh and you just have a question about your unemployment or applying for SSI, SSDI, Medi-Cal, Medicare, Covered California, please give us a call. Leave us a message. It's a message line, and one of our benefits specialists will call you back to assist you.
And I have a quick question, and I don't remember if you covered it in your previous slides. Now, there is a misconception for a lot of people who think that CalFresh is only if you are unemployed, if you don't have employment. But there are certain people, if you're working a part-time job or if you're a student worker or something like that, you can still apply. Do you know roughly what the income caps are to qualify for CalFresh?
So
if you're like a single individual?
A single individual, but it may be a family. Don't forget, households, you're going to get even more. I got to look. I'm surprised that I didn't have the graph to show the income cap for an individual.
If you want, I have it pulled up for you, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Kai, he's so helpful. I love it.
Right,
I'm gonna help. So really quick, everyone, if you're in a house of one, if you're just a single person, let's see. You can have an income of $1,383 a month. If you are a family of four, it would be like almost $5,000. Or excuse me, a family of eight, it'd be $5,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just like you said, Daniel, we get quite a few people who still qualify that are employed, because they don't make more than, the $1,500 a month, or students. They do have a thing too. I believe you can't work more than 80 hours a week to qualify. I want to say it's like 32 hours a week, and then you'll definitely qualify. And of course, you don't make the more than $1,500 a month. But I always still recommend individuals. I've had people apply and like, Tiana, I only got $15. You never know if that benefits another family member. Don't forget, it builds up every single month. The max that we see in individuals is about $300. But again, they probably also have a bigger household size.
Right.
Great. Thank you so much, Tiana, for providing all of that information. That was actually a lot of really, really great information. As you said, if you are interested in the CalFresh for the appointment line, we do have that number. It was scrolling. We'll have it scrolling up a little later, but definitely take this time to call. If you think that this might be something that you're eligible for, call us. We can help you. Like it won't hurt to apply. And if they say no, they say no. But if they say yes, isn't it nice to have a little extra money for food? Because Lord knows I spend so much money on food.
And don't be out here ashamed of that card, honey.
Right,
I use my CalFresh card, honey. I like it's a credit card. When I'm at the grocery store, honey, I sure will swipe it.
Yep, sure will.
So with that,
no shame in my game.
Zero. None. So with that, we are going to take our first break. We'll be back. Tiana is staying with us, and we're going to get into what's popping. So we'll see you all soon.
Hey guys, Ty here from APLA Health, and I got some good news for you.
APLA Health is launching our first ever at-home HIV testing initiative.
As we battle the global pandemic of COVID-19 and all that it entails,
APLA Health is doing what we can to fill the gaps for those who are in need of knowing their status, linking to care, and having safer sex options.
The initiative, officially known as Swab and Chill, will be our virtual hub for those seeking to take an HIV test
receive HIV kits, link into medical care for those who are HIV positive, while also having access to several other programs and services that specialize in harm reduction for HIV infection.
Such services include PrEP and PEP information, as well as substance abuse services. Our goal with Swab and Chill is to make HIV testing easily accessible and easy to use within the comfort of your own home.
We provide each client with the Aura Quick at-home testing kit. This kit is a simple test that is done by orally swabbing the gums and waiting 20 minutes for your results.
APLA staff is available to virtually assist you while taking the test, while providing resources and support for those who may test positive.
Maybe you already know your status and you're just low on condoms and lube due to accessibility. No problem. We can also send you one of our safer sex kits right to your front door.
As we strive to keep our community safer and well-informed, your privacy is also a high priority.
All packaging will appear from APLA Health. Our over-the-phone assessments are quick, easy, and secure, so you can feel safe in sharing your results with us and asking any questions that you may have.
If you or someone that you know is interested in having one of our at-home testing kits mailed to you, or you just want more information on what Swab and Chill can provide, please call one of our team members at 323-329-9713, or just email us.
Come swab and chill with 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 us.
And we are back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Link. If you didn't know, we have our wonderful guest, Tiana, here. She just gave us a course about how to apply, what's it about, who's eligible. So if you missed it, go back and watch. Then come back and watch the rest, because now this is our favorite section. What's poppin'? So if you don't know what What's Poppin' is, this is our pop culture section where we just talk about everything that's happening in the world, what we like, what we're doing, what's cool, what's hip, and more. So usually I start off, but I want to give the space for someone else. Does anyone have anything that they're just dying to talk about this week?
I'll be very brief. So I've been on the internet as of late, just looking at like things in regards to like music and stuff like that. And something that I'm really excited for is that we're about to have another monumental moment in music release history. So we have albums coming from 3 top rap artists that are going to be back to back, and they're going to actually bring back the competition aspect of their releases. So Top Dog Entertainment has been kind of like teasing a Kendrick Lamar album, which we're overdue. Kendrick Lamar is a really, really good voice for the generation. He's a conscious rapper. Things that he raps about is relevant to today. And then afterwards, J. Cole has announced that his album comes out next week. And then we are also still waiting for Drake's Certified Lover Boy album. Now, if you remember, all of these people came out at the same time. They were all a part of the same freshman class for XXL. So it's very exciting to know that we have 3 heavyweights going against each other this summer. It means more music for us, but they got to put in that work. So I'm excited for that. Are there any releases that you all are excited for?
I can't say that there are any releases I'm excited for, but I know the internet is dragging Chris Brown and Tory Lanez in this collaboration that they got going on, apparently. Just being that they feel like someone on Twitter said if Tory Lanez and Chris Brown team up, then they need a rebuttal from Meg Thee Stallion and Rihanna.
Oh gosh.
I mean, but I wouldn't be mad about the Meg Thee Stallion and Rihanna album.
I kind of feel like they have something coming. Yeah.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. That I'm still holding out hope for a Rihanna album. I doubt it's gonna happen, but maybe. And I'm also looking forward for SZA's new music because I'm sure she'll be releasing soon too.
Yeah,
I'm excited for my new music. That's whose music I'm excited for. Okay, the release of my album. I'm excited for.
Nice.
Everybody else is cute too. God bless.
Music for me, I don't think No one that I'm like super excited about. I like J. Cole, so I saw today that he's like promoting his new album, so I'm excited about that. So that'll be. But I'm not a huge Drake fan, but you are, so that's you go. You're excited.
You didn't have to say that, but okay, we got you.
You can keep it, Ty. You can keep it.
We see the both of you. We see the both of you.
We'll save it for the square up segment.
Yeah.
That's not a Tiana, don't you laugh. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's not an unpopular opinion. He is number one on the charts. Clearly, people think like me.
That's true. That's true. What about for me? So for me, my kind of thing is right now, as I said, I've been saying this like every week. I've been so burnt out from the news, from this past election, everything like that. So I'm kind of a little out of it. But one thing that I have noticed a lot on in social media is kind of what's happening in Colombia right now. So kind of a quick, brief, like it's a big, long, convoluted story.
Give it to us in parts. We need it in parts. Give it to us in parts.
So basically, the Colombian government during COVID-19, obviously everyone's been struggling for finances, economies, things like that. The president of Colombia had introduced a new bill that would basically heavily tax lower income people and the middle class. So it was they had a huge riot. Obviously, a big labor union came down and they caused protests. Since then, the president has said we're not going to pass this bill anymore. Obviously, it makes a lot of people upset. However, you would think, great, it's a win. They got what they wanted. In order to get that, though, they have seen extreme cases of police violence. And basically, their police force has been militarized and shooting live rounds at some of these protests that are happening in Colombia. And it just kind of brings us all back to basically what we spent, all last summer and everything from May going forward. And it's just one of those things, again, that we see of governments almost, I wouldn't say, I don't know, the government's just not helping the people, right? And I think that's just what's really, really frustrating. So especially, and I know it's like, it's not here in America, so why do we care? Remember, we have a lot of people, especially in California, from South America, from Latin American countries. I know quite a few people who are directly impacted from this because they have family living in Colombia. So this is something that a lot of people in Colombia, aren't even going to be able to buy food. They don't have a job and they can't buy food because now it's been taxed 15% more than it was, a week ago. And so seeing that with the police violence, I think the people of Colombia are really starting to rise up. However, they're dealing with increased COVID cases as well. So it's a lot right there. So
I think that is interesting. I think it's interesting that a lot of these places are having these money. I don't want to call them complications because they're not complicated scenarios. The government makes it complicated. Us being one of them. I think that with the world going through a pandemic, I've always known that the world was like greedy, but I've never known how stingy government could be as it pertains to helping people during a nation, not even a national, but a worldwide pandemic. Like, it just doesn't make any sense that, people put these things into play. And then when people riot, it's like, well, why are you rioting? Because I can't afford to pay food. It's like, when people are so far removed from real world problems, like they just become so numb and desensitized. It's sad to see.
Yeah, I know. Heavy. I always bring heavy, and I'm so sorry.
It's okay. She's a heavy girl.
If you guys don't have another thing, I do have something else that I heard on NPR on the way home, and I thought was really interesting. But it's like a nerdy thing.
Is that the radio station where they don't play music, they just talk?
Yes. I love
it. Oh, yeah. What did you hear?
So in America, we are now, for the first time since like the 1700s, basically, we're seeing the largest decline in population ever. So that means people aren't having, women aren't having babies. That's a big part. But then it's also our immigration has dropped drastically. So what's happening is now our population is aging and we're not replacing kind of like the older population. And I thought it was really interesting because because they don't know why this is happening. They just don't understand why this is happening. But the reasoning they have a lot of it is one, women who are having children are having them later, millennial women, especially because right now the age range for people having children are the older millennials from like 42 and millennial ends right now, they're like 25. So they're not having children because they're going to school. They're getting married later. They want to travel. And we know we can't afford kids. I mean, I can't afford a kid. I couldn't imagine having a child right now. I could not afford.
I could barely afford myself, let alone a child.
And so I thought it was really good. And I think one of the big implications from this, because you think, oh, it's so sad, there aren't going to be a lot of people. Oh, well. But that does mean a huge issue for our economy. And especially for like a lot of Republicans, they always say we want to boost up the economy. We want to do things for the economy. In order to do that, though, is we should make things like stronger social networks. So like we would want paid leave, paid maternity leave. We would want better childcare services. And we would want to actually open up immigration. And we know how Republicans feel about that. So I think it's just an interesting thing. As of right now, the way America's climate is, we're kind of making our population decrease. So I thought it was an interesting thing, just a nerd aspect of me. So
right now, and I think population decline isn't necessarily like a bad thing.
No, it's not.
At least not in the US. Like it's not like in Japan where they're seeing like a very drastic, steep decline of their population, which is going to probably cause problems in a few generations.
Well, that's what they're actually saying, that we're starting to see that similar trend, which is why people are panicking.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and like it was already a problem because we had the baby boomers, so that's like the generation of older people now. That population is so large, and especially now that they are older and having health issues, they're taking up a lot of healthcare costs. And a lot of young people don't get insurance either because they can't access it or because it's, you know, not something that's seen as important for a lot of young, healthy people. And so that like completely throws off our entire healthcare system too. So I think like all this that we're saying, I think is just a bigger point as to why we have to like, you know, move more and have more like radical action on these kinds of things, like the economy and that kind of thing. Like a big part of the reason why people aren't having kids, like you said, is because we're not seeing it as an option anymore. And also the only solution for that, which like you said, Republicans hate, is getting more immigration. You know, that's a super easy fix, new immigration, more people into the country. Lots of people want to come into the country. There are plenty of places that are, you know, in war-torn countries that, you know, are in need of sending refugees over. And so I think it makes a lot of sense for us to go in that direction, but I don't have a lot of hope.
You know, it's funny because this conversation is happening in the lactation field in regards to the numbers and, you know, population and populace and whatnot. But there is a lot of data in regards to deaths in regards to babies and children, and that there are a lot of high numbers in Black children and in Native children who are just not receiving health care as they should. So a lot of them are dying from things that they should not be dying from. And this is also adding to the population issue. So, I mean, I listened to a little bit of NPR, I get it, but a lot of times the whole, we don't know why this is happening. No, the data's out there. We know, we just don't want to talk about it.
I hear that. I do think, though, it's hard to tell right now for population what's causing the real things, because we're really starting to notice and we're starting to see this first big decline just because the numbers are based off of the census that we just complete. And so as those are coming in, so I think that me listening to it, I'm thinking, of course, our population is going down. We don't need to have as many kids as, say, you know, our grandparents did, where everyone was working for the household. We don't need that anymore. They're also saying usually previously in the past that like most women, when they had children, had about 2 children. So they were kind of replacing their parents. Now women are only having about 1. And I think maybe more women just want 1 child and not as many children.
I think that's a big part of it too. Like there's less of an emphasis in general of like women needing to be mothers, or like motherhood being so emphasized as such an essential part of being a woman, or at least for like cis women. So I think it's like super important that like we have shifted that. And I think that that's also a big conversation, because it's like, you know, obviously a lot of women are waiting till they're a lot older to have kids because, you know, they want to get their education or they want to focus on their career. They're deciding they don't want kids because, you know, now they have the option to do that. Whereas before it wasn't really necessarily an option.
Yeah.
Well, so your population is gonna lose 1 more person, because as soon as Elon Musk can get me to the moon, I'm out of here. Earth is ghetto.
So Tiana,
I want to tell people, watch The Handmaid's Tale, because that's the basis of that show.
Right. No episode 9 p.m. tonight.
Of that show.
So Tiana, I want to ask you kind of what your opinion is. You know, obviously you're a mother. I mean, obviously people wouldn't know, but we know that you have. So what are your thoughts on this idea that it could be, you know, maybe your children or your child doesn't have as many friends growing up because there's less kids around?
Yeah, I definitely see, especially in being early 40s or almost early 40s, I should say, not there just yet. But seeing my friends focus more on their careers. I'm seeing individuals that are even married, couples that are married that choose as a married couple, believe it or not to have children. I definitely can tell you guys the cost. If I would have known the cost, I think I really would have did a lot more traveling. Went to school even long. You know what I mean? You definitely look at those because I think when you become a parent, you totally give up. I mean, you know, on focusing on just yourself. So I think more people I'm finding, especially of my group of friends, are focusing more on them, making them the best that they could, you know what I mean, kind of be right now. I got friends that maybe be coming into that nice job or that nice career and they're comfortable. You know, they're comfortable traveling and with their spouse or their partner, you know, and not having, should I say, the responsibilities of a whole nother individual, you know, on your hands 24/7. So I definitely see that in my group as well.
I need some more of your friends because all my friends seem to be having babies, and I'm just trying to get them to stop because I'm tired of getting baby blankets and baby booties. Like I just love. I'm going to my baby shower.
Married, but they're getting married, which is good, but they're like, nah, we're cool on, you know, the aspect of having kids. So
yeah, and I will say, looking back at like, because you know, obviously I don't have a lot of heterosexual friends at the moment, just because I'm not around them often. But looking back at like old high school friends, there's actually only a small community of them that are married or have kids, and a lot of them are traveling. They are opening up these businesses and these nonprofits. And I think for me, when I heard it, I was like, yes, this makes sense. Because I feel like we stay younger now. We don't have to be full on kind of adult. Or like, I think about when my dad was my age, when he turned 30, he already had a 5-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. And I could not imagine me at 30 years old with almost like a 10-year-old. Like, what?
And it's a different mentality too. I mean, like you both mentioned, like, you know, people want to travel. They want to, you know, open these businesses. Like we know struggle, you know, we came from generations where people had like, you know, we have siblings and it's like, you know, sometimes we don't know what we're going to eat that night. We know that from coming up. So I think that also it's a mentality thing where it's kind of like, you know, even though the paradigm is shifting and people are focusing more on themselves, later in their years, it's I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing, but I do believe that I've noticed this shift. A lot of my friends who have had kids only had one. You know, I have godchildren where they're the only godchild and they don't have siblings, and you know, I'm the eldest of 5. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's a different dynamic. I mean, I would love to strap my son to my chest and live my best Tomb Raider fantasy, but I think that's like child endangerment, and he can't come on and pursue me. So we can't be swinging in the jungle and fighting mummies and stuff like that.
Well, in light of the fact that it is Mental Health Month, I just want to introduce the perspective that I also think that we are in a generation where you have a lot of 30s, you know, maybe even 40s, that are really looking at the damage that parenthood had did to them and really assessing their mental health and their traumas and things, and realizing that, oh, wait, maybe, you know, I grew up indoctrinated into this idea that I should be a parent, that I should have children, and I'm realizing I probably wouldn't be a great parent, or I just don't want kids. You know, so I think that there is a mental awareness factor in it where you have a large generation that's really kind of doing some inner work and having some realizations, some epiphanies, some revelations that, oh, maybe kids are not for me, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That's okay.
I know one thing that I think of about too is, and I know it's not a growing queer population, but a more out queer population. you know, a lot of times, a lot of queer people in the past, they would still have families, right? They would still kind of live this heteronormative kind of existence. So I'd be interested to see if that number has changed anything too. Because
I agree. Good point.
Yeah.
Right, like so much more like non-traditional like relationships and that kind of stuff are becoming popular. I know of people who have like multiple partners and they have partners who have kids, so like they kind of get whatever they need out of that, and so they don't feel the need to have kids. And so yeah, I feel like that's definitely a part of it. Part of the shift is people looking at traditional family living as less and less of a viable option for them.
Yeah. Love it. Millennials, we want to change it all. Different. But we're going to take one more break before we end today, and then we'll come back with our last goodbyes. So we will see you all in a few minutes.
Hey, I'm Nova. Welcome to Him Around Town. I'm a him. What if someone told you that you could take a daily pill to almost eliminate your chances of getting HIV? What if I told you that there is already a pill that does that? Now here's the real tea. Did you know that most insurances cover the cost with a small to no copay? Don't have insurance? That's okay. Here at APLA Health, we can help you find a program that will cover your costs. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, also called PrEP, is a once-a-day pill that does that very thing. Now, it doesn't mean that you are protected from other STIs, but hey, we get it. Sometimes things happen and we forget a condom, or one breaks. With PrEP, at least you know that you are protected from HIV. Now, let me be very, very real with you. Some people have mild side effects, but those usually disappear after 2 to 4 weeks. Okay. Now say you feel like you have been exposed to HIV from unprotected sex, needle sharing, or sexual assault. Did you know that if you take a medication within 72 hours of contact, your chances of contracting HIV would dramatically drop to almost 0? What surprise? There is a pill for that. It's also called post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP. With PEP taken once a day or twice a day for 28 days, it will help dramatically reduce your risk of getting HIV. However, like I said before, it must be within 72 hours of exposure. The sooner the better. Just like PrEP, most insurances will cover the cost of PEP, and if not, here at APLA Health, we will find another way for your treatment to get paid. Now let's get very, very, very real, you guys. A simple pill once a day can drop your chances of contracting HIV. It's like taking a vitamin, brushing your teeth, or something we hope that you do every day. There are even apps to remind you to take it. So if you have any questions for Healthy Him, give us a call right here. We'll be happy to hear from you.
And we are back. We love to see Novan on there talking about PrEP and PEP. Hi, Novan, if you're watching. So we are in our last kind of 5-minute section. And Tiana, I wanted to open this up back to you again, just so that people can be reminded, where can we find you, exactly what they can expect when they call the benefits program, and what all the services they can get from you.
So perfect. You can find me between our location in Koreatown and our location here in Baldwin Hills, but yet I'm anywhere you want me to be.
Yeah.
They can call the appointment line to gain an appointment. You'll be assigned to one of our 3 benefits specialists that can help you with an array of your benefits needs. Again, it can range from Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Medi-Cal, Medicare, GR, Covered California. We are a Covered California enrollment site. So we get tons of people, HIV positive, HIV negative. It does not matter. We can also help you with Covered California. Right now, our benefits team, what's newest, our latest for us is that the LA County or the Department of Public Health have a program called the Emergency Financial Assistance Program, or also known as EFA. We are helping individuals who are in need of assistance with utility bills, paying rent. Give us the situation. We can see if you qualify for assistance. But one thing I also wanted to throw out before we're done is that I also wanted to add that I also help with the housing department that we have. So if you have any individuals or know anyone that have any type of housing needs, please, you can call the appointment line. You can call me directly. My extension is 1313. So definitely reach out. Any one of these fine individuals can definitely find me as well. So if you can't find me, you can find any one of them, and they definitely know how to get in touch with me.
Yes, we can. We know how to find Tiana.
Yes.
Right. I can say personally, I actually just recently connected a client with Tiana who was in need of some services.
Yes.
And she was able to respond very quickly, get us connected, and now they're, getting an appointment, have a housing specialist, and we were able to help, a trans person straight out of incarceration. And so it's like great.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Right.
Yep, that's what we're in the business of.
Right, just a little testimonial.
Yes. And don't forget transportation. You need a ride, come see me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tiana, and giving us all of this information. As we mentioned before, if you are interested in CalFresh or any more information, definitely call the line below. You can go back to this video or reach out to us. We'll get you in contact with Tiana. Our housing and benefits specialists are amazing. If you don't know if you qualify for any type of assistance, just call and ask. We'll be able to help you. So with that, we want to say goodbye. We will see you.
Guys.
Tiana, give me a high five. Give me a high five.
Oh, right in the corner. Oh. And so, I also want to remind people next week the link can look a little different. We have our, I don't even know what to call it, our special Latinx day of the link. So we'll have Rogelio, Roger, and Nigel on, kind of just giving us the lowdown and taking over for the day.
Right. And Espanol. I'm kidding, no.
So with
my
that,
running
we'll
joke.
see you all next week. And you all have a wonderful and safe week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.